Can you prove that you exist? And so we have this thing which is valued in our world called the scientific method. And in the scientific method, we try to understand cause and effects on things. We create a hypothesis, and then we test the evidence and see whether the evidence supports our hypothesis or not. There are certain rules which we use in order to guide our conduct, and one of those rules is the notion of controls. Because the thing is that if there's multiple things that are going on at the same time, we really don't know what's happening, okay? And so if you're doing a study where you are trying to see whether a medicine results in something or not, you don't take 2 pills at the same time, and then let's say something happens, well, which of the pills was it, right? You can't take 2 pills at once, you can only take 1 pill at once. You're trying to isolate one single thing and control every other thing so that we can tell whether that one single thing was causal or had some kind of a relationship or not, okay? And so in my question, can you prove that you exist? The problem with trying to do that is that it requires the very thing that you're trying to prove in order to determine whether you exist or not. You see what I'm saying? It fails the scientific method because the thing that is being tested is also the thing that's testing. And so maybe you might say, well, I can ask somebody else, do you think I exist? And then that person says yes. But if everything that we've been talking about is just like a stimuli being fed into your mind, you don't really know. Like, it's just the delusion is just kind of spinning off of itself, right? And so the problem is that you're having to perceive the other person saying that you exist or not, and so it's going through you. It has to be something that's absolutely external to you, right? And so, in other words, you really can't prove that you exist. You're making an additional assumption that your 5 senses are accurately able to perceive reality. You're making the assumption that reality exists at all and that this life isn't just some kind of a dream or something like that. And so in order for us to be able to function, in order for you to actually go online or in person to go to your class, in order for you to go out and get something to eat, in order for you to just do the basics of daily life, you have to believe that certain things are true, such as reality. There is an external reality to myself. I am able to perceive through my senses accurately that external reality. My mind is able to know and understand that external reality. I'm able to, in some sense, transcend the external reality by influencing it in ways that I have control over. You're making all kinds of assumptions, whether you realize it or not, and so is everybody else. We're making all kinds of assumptions that things are true, even though we can't prove that they're true. Certainly not in a scientific sense. We cannot objectively prove that they are true. And so this is the point. Everybody has faith in something. And so when I say faith, what I mean by that is you have a belief that, based upon your own experience, is a valid belief and is a justifiable belief, yet it's not a belief that you can prove to somebody else per se. It's a presupposition. It's an assumption. So what about belief in God? So I can't prove to you that that God exists. There's no way that I'm going to be able to prove to you that he exists. But what's really interesting about having faith in God is that he gives a basis to all those other things I mentioned. He created the external world, and he created us, and he gave us senses to be able to accurately perceive the external world, and he enabled us through his spirit, the human spirit, to be able to transcend that physical world, not be merely a product of it. He gave intuition to the heart. He gave wisdom and understanding to man so that he's able to live in the world and move in the world, okay? So here's just this very interesting thing, is you can have one presupposition, faith, and believe that God is, and therefore because he is, he gives a basis to all the other things, all those other presuppositions that I mentioned. Or you can say, well, no, I don't believe in God, but I believe in point 1, which I can't prove, and point 2, which I can't prove, and point 3, which I can't prove, and point 4, which I can't prove, and on and on and on and on. And so it's this fascinating thing. You're willing to believe in a whole bunch of stuff which you ultimately can't prove, but you're not willing to believe in one thing that you can't prove, which gives a basis to all the other things. You see what I'm saying? My point in this whole video is everybody has faith in something. Your faith might not be in God, but there are things that you believe, and the evidence that you believe them is that you act on them every second of every moment of every hour of every day. I exist. There's an external world to me. I can interact with that external world, on and on and on. You believe all of these assumptions because you engage in that activity over and over and over again, all day, every day. So everybody has faith in something. What do you have faith in?